Here we go. I know you've been waiting for these. I've had so many students this sitting say, Ben, where are the tips? I need them. And, well, my answer is I'm a little bit late this time. I've been really busy marking all of the student mocks for the students on my course. And I give them a really detailed, personalised voice note at after each mock exam to give them personalised tips. That takes me ages, and that means I haven't had time to release this yet. But now... here you go. Here they are. Right. My question 1 tips, some mainstream, some less so. Right. Business risks comes up every time, right? Every time. I'm not going out on a limb there. So be prepared for them. They're in pretty much every exam, at least one variant. The new style ROMS question, where you are told what the risk of material misstatement is, and you have to explain why it is a risk of material misstatement. This didn't come up in March, even though it's been coming up a lot. I think it's definitely coming up in June, so be ready for it. And there's loads of past exam questions which have this style of question. You still have to do similar things. You still have to say how material it is. You still have to explain why the financial reporting's probably wrong, but there'll be other facts in the scenario to say why the risk is particularly heightened, why it's a particularly significant risk. But yeah, plenty of past exam questions for you to practice on that. We haven't seen analytical procedures for a while. I think that's likely to come up this time. It might well be that the audit procedures particularly tell you to do some analytical procedures, or it might be use analytical procedures as part of your risk evaluation for your ROMs. Either way, do some simple calculations, talk about them. And we haven't seen money laundering for a while, so I think that's coming up as part of the ethics question in question 1, or perhaps somewhere else in the exam. Yes, I have been I've been playing paddle a lot. I'm totally addicted to playing paddle, and if you haven't tried it yet, it's very fun. And if you're middle-aged like me, it allows you to feel young again. It's kind of like when I was at school and I couldn't wait for lessons to finish so I could go and play football at lunchtime. I'm a bit like that with paddle at the minute, and the weight's dropping off me. It's great. Anyway, the second question, you will definitely get a big question on reporting. One of the 25 mark questions, always. Not always for all 25 marks, but there will always be one that has some reporting in it. The examiner loves this type of question, where they give you the audit work that's already been done and ask you to comment on how well or how badly it's been done. It will have been done badly. Your job is to explain the problems. I think sustainability is coming up again. I keep tipping it and it keeps coming up. The examiner loves it. Right, it's new in the syllabus. It is one of the hot topics within AAA. It's going to become an even bigger part of the AAA syllabus come September 25. So it's right at the front of the examiner's mind. They're putting lots of questions in on it. So if they're going to put it in as part of a reporting question, it would go quite nicely with an other information paragraph. Anyway, so that's my tip there. Make sure you're all over what an other information paragraph is and when they're used. And the examiner has mentioned this recently. Critically evaluating audit report hasn't come up that much of late. It's due. So where they give you a draft audit report and ask you to comment on why it's wrong. Hard questions. Students tend to struggle on those. The key is to assume everything's wrong. Everything. Your job is to explain, pick out what's wrong. Explain why that's a problem. Why is it an issue? That's hard to do. Many students can't do that. Okay, so what's the problem? Why is it an issue? Why is it a real problem for a user of the financial statements of that report? And then, what should it be instead? Okay. Easy if you know what you're doing, hard if you don't. My June courses sold out unbelievably quickly. It was a record for me. I have very limited places because there's only so much of me to go around. So if anyone wanted to sign up for Revision Plus for June, you only really had a couple of days to do it, exam results day and the day afterwards, and then the course was sold out. So if you do want my support for a potential resit in September, hopefully you won't need it. But if you do, make sure you sign up early, otherwise there won't be space for you. Then the third question. I'm going out on a slight limb here in one way, and another way I'm being very, very mainstream. The examiner has mentioned this recently, going concern. So I'm taking it as a tip that it's going to form part of a question where you're having to assess whether a business is a going concern. Could be part of a non-audit engagement where you're given some sort of cash flow forecast to support the going concern status of the business. The examiner loves fraud. Could be combined with money laundering here or not money laundering. The reason they love fraud is that every fraud scenario is very different. You have to really show your understanding to be able to answer those questions well. But it will tend to be something like you're told some details of the fraud and you're asked, how did that happen? How could it happen? What were the control weaknesses? How could we prevent it from happening in the future? Doing a bit of forensic auditing. And this is the thing that I'm going out on a bit of a limb with. We haven't seen it for a while, not for a couple of years. It is due to come up. Yes, it's not a very big part of the syllabus, but it is part of the UK syllabus. So make sure you're all over insolvency, because I think it's coming up this time. I don't know, but it might. And if you're not a UK person, if you're doing the international syllabus, it's probably going to be a bigger ethics question instead of the insolvency one. Well, good luck, everybody. Best of luck for the exam. If you do need my help for a potential reset in September, then get in touch, sign up early, because I have very, very limited space. Best of luck.